for Tim McCoy.
These letters you send in to me are very interesting. They ask for information about some of the strangest things. Now, here's one, for instance. Here's a letter from up in Oregon. It says, Dear Tim, did the Indians really call whiskey firewater, or is that just a white man's expression? Well, the Indians did call it firewater, and when you stop to think of what these traders used to give them for whiskey, it's understandable that it would be called firewater. Naturally, those traders didn't go out and buy first-class whiskey to give to Indians. So they took alcohol, watered it just a little bit, then to give it color, they put in tobacco, little molasses, and then to give it a jolt, they loaded it with Tabasco, so that by the time an Indian took a drink out of it, the tears just ran down his cheeks. And as the Indians said later, long time ago, white man give Injun whiskey. Firewater. No good for Injun then, no good for Injun now. White man's firewater, bad medicine. Now, here's another one. That I've seen several pictures of you in different books with the Indian who started the ghost dance. I would appreciate it if you'd tell us about this ghost dance. What was it? Was it a secret Indian ceremony? Well, now, before I start on that, here's something that sort of ties into it, because it's relative to Sitting Bull. They had read about Sitting Bull's remains having been moved from North Dakota to South Dakota. I've always been curious about Sitting Bull. Perhaps you can clear the air for me. Was Sitting Bull killed at the Little Bighorn or not? If not, when did he die, and where's his grave now? Well, Sitting Bull is so tied into this ghost dance that I thought I would take those two questions and answer them as one, because the story sort of dovetails. You know, this ghost dance didn't begin until 1889 or 1890, and it was the winter of 1890, the winter of 90 and 91, that Sitting Bull was killed. And he was killed as a result of the ghost dance religion. So he was not killed, to answer the first part of that question, at the Little Bighorn. This ghost dance was a very peculiar thing, you know. Speaking of the ghost dance, here was one of the pictures, I think, that girl refers to. Here's a picture taken of Wovoka, Jack Wilson, the Messiah, the man who started the ghost dance. And that gentleman with the whiskers with him you might recognize as today. That was taken, naturally, a good many years ago, but that's the only photograph ever made of the Messiah. This is copied from the Ethnological Bureau in Washington. This ghost dance, as I started to say to you, came about in a very peculiar way. The Indians had all been put back on reservations. Now they were held by the white men. They were looking for some hope, something that would give them something to believe in, a lift of some kind. And way off in Nevada, they heard about a great Messiah, a great medicine man who'd come into being. And they sent emissaries all the way down there. Now this fellow Wovoka, or Jack Wilson, he was a Paiute Indian. And he lived down here. Here's an old agency map issued by the Department of the Interior for the Office of Indian Affairs way back in 1923. So that gives you an idea of how those reservations were located. Now, the men who spread that religion were the Arapahoes from the Wind River in Wyoming. They had sent emissaries down, way down here across this country, from the Wind River, clear out into the Mason Valley of Nevada, talked to the Messiah, and brought that wonderful religion back with them. Now, the other agencies sent Indians over there as soon as they'd heard about what was going on at Wind River, to find out about that religion. And it seems this way, this Messiah was an Indian who one day, as he said, he died and was taken up to heaven. He'd probably fainted, gone into a trance, something of that sort. But when he got up there, here were all the Indians who had ever died, all mounted on their war ponies. He saw them all, saw his relatives, and the Great Spirit told him that he was to go back down on earth and carry this great religion to all the Indians. He said that once he sent a Messiah to the earth, but the white men had killed him. They put him to death. But this time, he was going to send him down to the Indians. And he gave him this dance and these songs. He promised them, if you sing these songs and dance, this spirit dance, then one day a great cloud will appear. And on it will be all the Indians who have ever died. All the buffalo will come back. All the elk and the antelope, and they'll all be on this great cloud, and it'll bury all the white men beneath it, and the Indians again will have all this land. But you must sing these songs and dance these dances. And the songs that he gave them, translated, were, Father, have pity on us. We're hungry. We have nothing to eat. Father, have pity on us. We are cold. We have no fires to warm us. Father, have pity on us. Then the Arapahoes, they changed a little bit, and they said, we have nothing to eat. We want beef. Won't you have pity on us? But the whole thing was, we're suffering, and we're looking up to the Great Spirit for his help and guidance. Have pity on us. Well, that was something that gave the Indians a little hope to tie to. So they all sent their emissaries there, and presently they were all dancing this ghost dance. Well, now over on the Standing Rock Agency, old Sitting Bull was there. He'd been a prisoner, of course, since he returned from Canada in 1881. He realized here was something that would unite all the Indians, and he might get control again and hurl them against the white man, one last campaign. Well, the men who, of course, were interested with Sitting Bull, well, here, I've got some pictures out here for you. I want you to show them. Take a look at these now. There's Sitting Bull about the way he looked at the time of the ghost dance or just before. Then he sent two of his emissaries, Short Bull, an old friend of mine, and Kicking Bear. They went over, brought back the religion, said, yes, the things the great man have told you, these things he has told you are correct, they're true. We must sing these songs and dance these dances, and then these great prophecies will occur. Well, the agents, of course, got a little excited over this. They realized here was a chance now for the Indians to start a general uprising, so they decided to arrest Sitting Bull and put an end to this ghost dancing. Cody was with his show. Buffalo Bill was over in England with his show. He saw here was a chance for publicity, so he came back, left the show in London, and he came to General Miles, and he said, I can bring Sitting Bull in without firing a shot. May I go? Miles said, sure, if you can bring him in. So he wrote an order for Cody to go bring in Sitting Bull. Well, the Army didn't want Cody to bring in Sitting Bull. The Indian Service didn't want him brought in by a showman, so they countermanded the order when Sitting Bull was up there in his camp at the Standing Rock Agency, and Cody was on his way with a buckboard to bring him in. Here's a picture of them taken the year that he was with Buffalo Bill's circus. Now, I've always maintained that Cody could have brought him in. But instead of which, they sent the Indian police. And when you sent the Indian policeman, they brought a man in, alive or across the saddle. The result was Sitting Bull and his followers attempted to restrain the police. A fight started. Red Tomahawk, Sergeant Red Tomahawk, and Bullhead put their pistols to Sitting Bull's head, blew the top off his head, and that was the end of Sitting Bull. That, of course, led to the Battle of the Wounded Knee, and there was a great campaign all that winter. But that isn't what I started to tell you about. The thing is that Sitting Bull, trying to resist arrest, in fact, he himself had said he would go, but his followers wanted to hold on to him. They were the ones who started the fight. It resulted in the death of Sitting Bull there on the Standing Rock Agency. Now, Sitting Bull was buried there, and according to that letter, some time ago, they stole his body at night and brought it down for no other reasons than for tourist attraction. So he's buried now under concrete up there on the edge of South Dakota. But these poor people who had gone through that campaign, that bitter winter campaign, where so many of them were slaughtered at the Battle of the Wounded Knee, they could only say then, Father, have pity on us. Their great medicine that was supposed to have saved them have proved to be the means of their destruction. They could say, Father, have pity on us now. We have nothing left to believe in.
Join us for another authentic story of the West when we again meet America's favorite Western storyteller, Tim McCoy.